राशन कार्ड वालों का खाना नहीं दे रहे। गाड़ी इधर पे पार्किंग में लगा दी है। अब चलते हैं हम लोग।
Turn left toward Hamidia Road, Railway Station Road, then turn left onto Hamidia Road.
कितनी पुरानी बिल्डिंग है भैया। आपके पधारने का धन्यवाद। दोस्तों, इंदौर का सफ़र शुरू हो गया है। इधर से हम लोग भोपाल जंक्शन में हैं। शक्ल सही से दिख नहीं रही। तो हम लोग मक्सी जंक्शन पहुंच चुके हैं। मक्सी जंक्शन सर कैसा लग रहा है आपको इंदौर के बीच में आके?
बस आने वाले हैं थोड़ी देर में।
तो क्या परेशानी उठाई आपने इस ट्रेन में?
चार्जर पॉइंट नहीं था यहाँ।
ये बात, हम लोग भी 10-15 मिनट नहीं 20 मिनट, बहुत फास्ट चार्जिंग है हम लोग का इसीलिए हो गया था, तो 15-20 मिनट खड़े रहे और चले आए। चलिए आगे इंदौर का। ये जो पंखा दिख रहा है रात भर चालू था, हम लोग को रात भर ठंडी लगी है। भैया हमारे इंदौर के कुछ दोस्त हमसे मिलने आ चुके हैं इधर हमारे फ्लैट। ये देखिए इतने सारे लोग फिर सब मिलने गए हैं हमसे कि हम इंदौर आए हैं। तो अभी हम लोग फ्लैट से बस निकलने वाले हैं, दीपक तैयार मतलब ड्यूटी पहन लें। थोड़ी देर में हम लोग पहुंचने वाले हैं बस स्टॉप और जाते हैं मीटिंग को। दीपक भैया भी आ गए तो देखा कितने सारे दोस्त गेट में भीड़ लगाए थे
हमारा वेलकम करने
आए थे इंदौर में पहली सुबह हम लोग की। ये देखते हैं अब बस का इंतज़ार, पहली बार सब लोगों के साथ जाएंगे, देखते हैं कौन सी बसें भेजते हैं स्वामी विवेकानंद वाले। किसी को पता होगा तो बताना ज़रूर, बताएं आपका एक्सपीरियंस पहली सुबह इंदौर की।
अच्छा रहा, देखते हैं आगे की सुबह कैसी होती है, बाकी तो सब बढ़िया लगा।
अभी हम लोग ये न्यू सड़क पे हैं, मतलब 114 न्यू सड़क। तो हम लोग पूरे 1 घंटे के सफ़र के बाद कॉलेज पहुंच चुके हैं स्वामी विवेकानंद। अभी फैकल्टी मेंबर से पूछा तो क्या बताए फैकल्टी मेंबर,
पीछे फार्मेसी डिपार्टमेंट है, वहाँ चले जाओ, वहाँ जाकर पता कर लो क्या
कैसा है। चलिए आगे का हाल दिखाते हैं आपको। तो ये फार्मेसी डिपार्टमेंट दिखने लगा, आप लोग को नहीं दिख रहा होगा क्योंकि ये कम मेगापिक्सल का कैमरा है। तो कैंटीन तो दिख रही होगी, बस खड़ी है पूरी, आगे आपको दिखाते हैं।
act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. A very healthy and good morning to one and all present here. I, Kamakshi Sharma, B Farm 3rd year.
I, Bhakti Patil, B Farm 3rd year, welcome you all at the first day of 2 days national workshop on clinical research and drug development, organized by Swami Vivekananda College of Pharmacy in collaboration with Tata Consultancy Services, with an objective of bridging the skills gap between clinical research industry and academia.
We are very delighted to have with us today's chief guest, Dr. Shirish Sherlekar Sir, ex-Global Head, Life Science Practices, TCS. Our guest of honor, Dr. Rajesh Sharma Sir, Professor and Head, School of Pharmacy, DRx Indore. Our guest of honor, Dr. Academician Sir, Vice Principal, Shukdev Ayurvedic Medical College, Indore. Also, eminent resource persons, Ms. Aarti Bhandari Ma'am, HR Life Science, Digital Medicines and Medical Technologies, TCS. Dr. Jayatirtha Gopal Krishna Sir, Domain Consultant, TCS Mumbai. Dr. Mangesh Kulkarni Sir, Medical Safety Director, Global Head, Pharmacovigilance, Life Science, TCS. Dr. Sanket Chadha Sir, Domain Consultant, Medical Writing at TCS. Dr. Rajneesh Vaz Sir, Domain Consultant, Regulatory Affairs, Mumbai. Ms. Gauravi Sherlekar Ma'am, Assistant Manager, Learning and Development, Human Resource Pharmalex. Principal, Swami Vivekananda College of Pharmacy, Dr. P.K. Dubey Sir, and all respected principals and teachers of various colleges.
Goddess Saraswati is an auspicious symbol of knowledge in Indian mythology. In Indian tradition, we pray to Goddess to bestow the blessings on us before the start of any intellectual assembly. May I request all the dignitaries for the traditional light lightning ceremony. Dr. Rajesh Sharma Sir, Professor Head, School of Pharmacy, DRx Indore. I would like to request Mrs. Apurva Pagare Ma'am to welcome guest of honor Dr. Akhilesh Srivastava Sir, Vice Principal, Shukdev Ayurvedic Medical College.
The workshop is designed so as to give an overview about the domains in clinical research. Tata Consultancy Services is an IT consulting and business solution organization that has been partnering with many of the world's largest businesses for the past 50 years. They have launched various innovative software for clinical research and advanced drug development, offering a wide range of cloud-based clinical services which include clinical data management, pharmacovigilance, regulatory and data analytics.
To move forward for the further detailing of the workshop, I would like to invite our principal, Dr. P.K. Dubey Sir, for the welcome address.
Respected Dr. Shirish, Chief Guest of today's function, Dr. Mangesh, Dr. Gopi Krishna जी.
आपको खुद को पढ़ना पड़ेगा। यहाँ तो टीचर डंडा मार मार के पढ़ा लेते हैं, वहाँ कोई ही पढ़ाएगा नहीं। और अगर आप खुद होके नहीं पढ़ोगे तो आप जिंदगी में कोई भी कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ में आगे बढ़ नहीं सकते। ये आप बात आज गांठ बांध लो, क्योंकि नहीं तो बाद में पछताओगे। कई लोग बोलते हैं कि हमको कोई दूसरा मोटिवेट करे तो हम करेंगे। मोटिवेट दूसरा नहीं करता है, मोटिवेट खुद को होना पड़ता है। बाहर का आदमी ज्यादा से ज्यादा 1 दिन 2 दिन मोटिवेट करेगा, उसके बाद नहीं कर सकता, आपको होना पड़ता है। तो अगर आप खुद मोटिवेट नहीं होगे तो आपको कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता, न भगवान आके नीचे आपको कुछ मदद करेगा। तो ये बात आप ध्यान में रखो कि जो आपको करना है आपके करियर के लिए, वो आपको करना है। मदद मिल सकती है, पर मोटिवेशन, इच्छा और उसको जो आपने पढ़ा है उसका क्रियान्वयन करना ही आपके ऊपर है। ये बात सामने वाले के ऊपर निर्भर नहीं करता। और ये एक और सोच लो, कॉर्पोरेट जगत में मैं वापस दोहरा रहा हूँ, कोई पढ़ाएगा नहीं तुमको। कोई हाथ पकड़ के ये भी नहीं बताएगा कि ये काम ऐसे करना है, कोई नहीं बताने वाला है। वहां आपका इंटेलिजेंस और आपने जो सीखा है उसको प्रैक्टिकली आप सामने कैसे लाते हो, उसी पे आपको नंबर मिलते हैं। जो अप्रेजल्स होते हैं कि आपने साल भर में क्या किया, अच्छा किया, बुरा किया, वो जो आपकी परीक्षा लास्ट के एंड में होती है, जो एचआर लेते हैं, उसी बेसिस पे लेते हैं कि आपने डिलीवरी क्या किया है, कंपनी के लिए कुछ अच्छा किया है या नहीं किया है। और नहीं किया है तो आपको ग्रेड भी ढंग से नहीं मिलेगी, न ही आपको इंक्रीमेंट मिलेगा, और इसके जिम्मेदार आप खुद होगे। तो ये बात ध्यान में रखो। मैं आपको डराने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं आपको वस्तुस्थिति से जानकारी आपके सामने रख रहा हूँ। कमिंग बैक टू क्लिनिकल रिसर्च, एंड ऑल ऑफ यू आर कंफर्टेबल इन इंग्लिश और हिंदी?
Yes, sir.
Sorry? Hindi? English. Now, if you're talking to clinical research, I'll pick up from where Rajesh sir left. He talked about the ancient Indian history of medicine. Unfortunately, my laptop is not being connected, so I can't present to you. The traditional, as they call, I don't like it to call traditional, it was a system of medicine. The system of medicine was Ayurveda, which was prevalent in the northern part of India and the rest of the world. It went to Egypt, it went to Greece, it went to the Europe. The second part of system which developed in India of medicine was Siddha. Siddha was in the southern part of India, and the practitioners were known as Siddheshwars. The third system of medicine came from Greece, and the system was known as Unani. And very unfortunately, if you see Unani is present in India, Yunan is also the other name of Greece. Unani system of medicine is present in India, Unani system is not present in Greece. And the last is homeopathy, which was developed by a German guy called Hahnemann, and it came to India. Germany has some, India has many. So those were the normal systems of medicines which were existing in the world, of which the oldest is the one which is known as Ayurveda. And the three pillars of them were Shushruta, the surgeon, Charak, the medicine guy, and Vagbhat, which has written regarding pharmacology. So those were the three guys who were responsible for creating medicine in the world, and they used it from the natural systems. Now coming very specifically to Shushruta, and I'm more interested in it because I'm a surgeon there. How many of you know Shushruta? No. So what do you know about him? Why? Why is he called the father of surgery? Is he called the father of surgery, or he is called the father of plastic surgery?
Actually, he was done of plastic surgery. Plastic surgery.
So why?
He performed a surgery. I'm not getting it, but
Just a minute. Just a mail come. If I present to you, you will get more into it, but I'll continue till it starts. Shushruta was a surgeon who lived about 3,500 to 4,000 to 5,000, depending upon how people talk about him. Today's surgery, as we do it today in the world, the originator of it was Shushruta. Very, very unfortunate that today's surgeons, including a person like myself, all the guys serving as surgeons, plastic surgeons, cardiac surgeons, orthopedic surgeons, they don't respect him. So we Indians only don't respect him. How do you expect the world to respect anybody? So the first thing is learn to respect yourself, learn to respect your country, and then think of anybody wanting to respect you. Now what Shushruta did, first of all, he was a classic teacher. So he used to teach anatomy on the different fruits which were available at that time. The fruits were in the shape of a stomach, and there are fruits which are in the shape of a stomach. There are fruits which are in the shape of the arm. There are fruits which are in the shape of the kidney, the liver, the spleen, the head, the eyes. There are different fruits of different shapes and sizes. He used to teach giving incisions, operating, dissecting on those fruits. So that is what Shushruta first did. Second, one of the most classical examples of Shushruta which is given is in three terms. One, repair of the nose. Second, burr surgery of the eye, which is used for the head, which is done for removal of blood clots from the brain. So the burr surgery was done him. He has done a lot of amputation surgeries, creation of stumps and all, because at that time during the Mahabharata, Ramayana and the olden times, there used to be wars, there used to be a lot of injuries for which amputations were to be done. He has done the amputation. He has done cleft lip, deviated nose, nasal septum, so on and so forth. So there is a plethora of surgeries which he has done, and there are at least about 200 different types of instruments which he has created to be used in surgery, cataract surgery, cesarean sections, amputations. He has done that. If you want, anybody wants to see what kind of surgical instruments he has done, go to Varanasi, go to the new museum which has opened next to the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Very recently it was opened by our Prime Minister. Look at that. There is a gallery dedicated to Shushruta, in which there are photographs of all the instruments which he has used in their named, and they are named after animals because the shape and size of the mouth of the animal resembles that of the instrument. So that he has done. Coming very specifically, and how India as a country, and coming to clinical research much later, so let me conclude this. How the world looted India from this knowledge, and we did not care to also keep it within us. So today when somebody says Ayurveda, so we all laugh at it. Because why? Allopathy jaldi clear karta hai, no? I am an allopathic surgeon, so that's a different issue. Now what did he do? And how did this knowledge was taken away from it? The classic example is, if you all know, how many of you have read Ramayana? रामायण क्या है मालूम?
yes.
शूर्पणखा कौन थी मालूम है? शूर्पणखा का नाक किसने काटा था? उसके बाद क्या हुआ? उसके बाद नहीं मालूम क्या? रावण के बाद उसके बाद हुआ क्या? बनाया गया. So ये जो punishment है of cutting off the nose, this punishment is a very old time punishment. Not only in the Indore, there's a punishment for something is a very, very old tradition. The one on the left of mine. Sorry.
इसका ब्राइटनेस ही कम है.
Those who can't see can have my presentations. They can send it to you.
Right? Yes. So if you could see the photograph on the left, that photograph is of the guy called Kawasji, as they pronounce it, as they spell it, but the actual name is Kosaji. This painting is from about 1790 to 1800. It was done by a British painter, It's a pencil sketch. If anybody wants to see an evidence, because you people believe more in WhatsApps and Googles and all, please type Welcome Foundation Library, COWSAJEE. Type that and you will get the photograph. Or you type the British Museum, type again Powers G, and on the British Museum site you will see this photograph. This is a painting which I have personally seen at the Welcome Foundation, so I can vouch that this painting exists. If you want, evidence is there. Now, who is this gentleman? Kosaji was a person in the Maratha regiment of the British Army. In 1792, around that time, when the British Army was having a war with Tipu Sultan, Tipu Sultan captured this guy. This guy was the one who would take the rasa, as they call the arms, ammunition, food and all, to the battlefield. So this guy was captured by the Tipu's army and they cut off his nose. Once they cut off his nose, they left him and they cut off one of his arms. So they left him. This guy came back to the British army where they were stationed. And there were doctors there who said that we will send you to London to get your nose reconstructed. So this guy dilly-dallied for about 10 years and then said, no, I don't want to go to London, I'll go to Pune and get my nose repaired. So everybody laughed at him, including the Britishers. Nonetheless, this guy came to Pune, got hold of a family which was in the business of brick making, जो ईंट बनाता था. Because this particular technique which they used was transferred by Shushrutt down the line to the family of brick makers. So the understanding came to them, and it is that family which reconstructed this guy's nose. So the photograph which you see here is the photograph which you saw is actually of that person with the nose reconstructed. There is also a photograph with the nose cut. The technique which he used was exactly the way it is described in the Shushrutt Samhita, and if you can read the Shushrutt Samhita, it would be great. Want to read a Shushrutt Samhita in English? The initial translation is given by a gentleman in 1900s. It's available on archives.org. There are 3 volumes of it, and this is written there. So he did the surgery, and how he did was they used the skin from the cheek. So they used the chin. That is what they did. So that left side is the one done by Shushrutt. The other side, on my right, the photograph which you see was a technique which was used by the Italians at that point of time. Now, if you see that man's arm is like this. So what they have done is they have taken the flap of a skin from the arm in the Italian technique and connected it to the arm and created a nose. But while you are doing this, you have to keep your arm permanently like this for about 3 months before the nose is done. Obviously, you can't keep the arm like that for 3 months. So it used to be pulled off and the surgery used to fail. What Shushrutt did is he took out the flap from the cheek, took the cheek, rotated it, and planted it on one half, took the other piece from here, rotated it, planted it here, and let what is known as a pedicle or a small stump of skin attach to your face so that the blood circulation was continuous. That is how he reconstructed the nose. And because of this, the results were excellent, and that Kosaji was operated like that. The story doesn't end here. Once the nose was reconstructed, he came back to his regiment. The doctors saw it, were extremely amazed and thrilled to look something like this, which was not done anywhere in Europe or the world. And how come such a lowly country, uneducated people, how can you do that? That was the answer. How can they do it? So they went, looked at the surgery, and then sent a message back to a guy called Cowper, Dr. Cowper in UK. Dr. Cowper was one of the so-called renowned plastic surgeons of Europe at that point of time, and he was amazed. So he came down and he sent his people to learn this surgery, learned it, they went back, started doing that surgery, and then what happens? He names it after himself. So today if you ask any plastic surgeon in the world, do you know about Cowper's surgery? The answer will be yes. You ask him, do you know who did it in the first place? The answer will be they don't know. And that is how our knowledge was picked up by people, taken abroad, and used in their name. And here we are, who curse Shushrutt and Charak till date. So that is what the difference is, and that is how. So when Professor said us a little while back that we did investigations and clinical research long time back, here is the evidence for it. They want book evidence, it is there. Photo evidence, it is there. You name the evidence and we have there. So remember, clinical research is old for us. It may be new and coming back new to India in a different way. Is a different issue which we have to learn also. It is not that it is all bakwas. It is not, but we should not lose our heritage to understand that. Thank you.
That was the 2 important photographs that I wanted to show you. There are more there. I don't want to take your time. If you want, I can send you the presentation. You can look at it. The second most important thing which you understand when you come into clinical research, and all my colleagues are here, they will give you details of each and every branch of clinical research. Because clinical research is not a single branch. It is an amalgamation of at least some 8, 10, 9, 12 branches across the board. Opportunities are available in all the streams that you have. In India, to give you just an example, today in India, the number of people who are working in IT companies, CROs and all, the number is more than about 40 or 50,000 odd people working in the area of clinical research. Very unfortunately, people from second-rung towns, as they call, Indore, Jaipur, Bhopal, Sagar, or these kind of cities, there are hardly any students coming out. So this initiative of ours, by which we are getting it into various colleges in MP, one of the reasons being I hail from Mahu, which is just 20 kilometers away from here. I spent my lifetime and my education doing here in Indore, in the MY Medical College. So I'm very well aware of the city and the surroundings and the state. So I am ready to invest my time The people from TCS who are sitting here are ready to invest their time. It is up to you whether you want to take that opportunity or not. Because the center of TCS is already there. There are already 3 projects of clinical research working. Probably some students may be from here, I don't know, but there are a couple of them in Bombay with us. And if you people are interested, it is next to home. Because quite a few of people living in Indore, a traditional Indore, घर के सामने होगा जो आपको बहुत अच्छा है. So that is quite घर के सामने rather than Bombay. So it's on the airport road. So that facility is available. Projects are on. If you want to learn and understand about it, I think it is the right opportunity for you. So the opportunity has come knocking to you. It's up to you to open the door and accept it and learn from it, or not let the opportunity pass. There are many other students which are also available. We will not stop as a company because our job is to work and get business to India, which will continue to get. I would prefer it with you rather than with somebody else, being a city of Indore and I being from here. If you are interested, we are all there to support you, all there to help you, all there to grow you. Take this hand or the finger which we are given, and as they say, ungli diya to haath mat pakdo. Here I say, ungli dene ko taiyar hai, gale aake lag jao hamare. But aa jao. So there is a lot of effort which has gone behind this. People sitting here, you will see, have left their jobs for the last 2 days and coming here. Some of them have traveled just a day before from UK to do this job. So please be serious about it. We have come to you. Your help is needed. So leave. अच्छा रहेगा सवाल. The more you ask questions, the more you will get answers, and the more you will learn. So that is all I would say. Best of luck. My apologies that the presentation I could not present it to you, but if you want the presentation, I can definitely hand it over to you to whosoever you want. It's a general presentation, nothing great, but you can read that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. He is global head of drug safety pharmacovigilance at TCS Mumbai. He has over 22 years of experience after completing his post-graduation in medical faculty and has handled various leadership positions at functional, operational and strategic level in diverse setups like pharma MNC, contract research organizations, and also as practitioner of medicine. May I invite you for the keynote address. Welcome, sir.
No,
Just
sir.
saying I cannot share a restaurant like Shirish. Morning and immediately traveling to Indore, but thank you. No problem. Am I audible? Yes. Thank you very much. Thanks very much for giving this opportunity and those kind words to introduce me. How much time I have for 20 minutes? I want to make it more interactive. I have my session tomorrow as well on pharmacovigilance, so we can discuss pharmacovigilance related aspects more tomorrow. But here, I just give you who are we and where do you see yourself in this whole conundrum or whole spectrum of clinical research that we are talking about. Let's start. So I'll start with one. And I wanted to specifically bring this up. What is the relationship between Swami Vivekananda and Jamshedji Tata? If you know about it, have you heard about it? Have you heard of the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore? This was established. What may I get? I should have started singing here. Again, my career. Is this still audible? No?
Technical issue happened.
Okay. I hope this was a little while. So there is a old relationship or old connection which I was talking about. If you have heard, there was this interesting letter written by, and this is available on, you can see the Tata website, you can see on the web page of Tata as well as this famous, Mr. Jamshedji Tata. He was traveling from Japan to Canada on a ship, and on the same ship, Swami Vivekananda was there, and they were exchanging the thoughts. During the exchange of thoughts, is it the disclose that we are only feeling, or that should be okay? Sorry, I'm losing thoughts, chain of thoughts in between because of this, but this is not the idea we are dependent on. But yes, this was the famous journey which Jamshedji Tata, he was on the same ship where Swami Vivekananda was traveling, and during the exchange of thoughts, there were noble ideas from Swami Vivekananda, and there was a businessman who was a patriotic businessman and very wanted to. Already he had started a lot of initiatives in terms of developing the industry, but industry with the social responsibility mindset, and he had created that group by that time. So there took a birth of Indian Institute of Science to develop the human manpower or Indian men or Indian resources into a skilled manpower required for the industry, as well as for agricultural science or development of science. This institute, this was in 1901, and Tata then wrote a letter in 1898. This was the journey was somewhere around 1893, and in 1898, this famous letter, which is there on Tata website, you can see written to Swami Vivekananda. Inside, wanted to just show you the glimpse of it. There is a relationship, and then that relationship. It's a very nice letter, very nicely worded. How it is talking about the the science part and the idea part, which and the thoughts which are shared by Swami Vivekananda with Jamshedji Tata. And then it came to the further developments. Whether the Institute of Science was developed, there were so many endowment scholarships that were developed where Tata supported many students from India to study in abroad because we were heavily colonized by that time. We were stuck in poverty, and there was no way that our people could get the best skills of the industry, develop ourselves into industry. So the whole industry development as well as the required skills for that industry or business development as well as for science was required that point of time, and that went on until 1930s, 40s, where scholarships. There were a special incident, being from the medicine background. We had our older times, Indian women, there was a high rate of infant mortality, the childbirth related issues. So, and Indian women were very hesitant to go to male doctors at that point of time. So, Jamshedji Tata saw this. He invested specifically in developing female gynecologists for these purposes. He selected ladies with bright future, gave them scholarships, sent to England that point of time, come back and serve our own people as gynecologists because our own females that point of time, because of the social restrictions or as well as many other factors, we are hesitant to show it to male gynecologists. So that was the further vision, and such like this, many students were developed over time. You can see today now, and that legacy still continues. If we see today in Harvard also, there is a Tata Hall. 50 million US dollars were given as donation by Ratan Tata, and there is also the scholarship which goes on for Harvard education, as well as Tata has received the Carnegie Medal of Social Responsibility, that's industry best for social responsibility. So that is the legacy we're talking about. I just wanted to quickly touch base on that. How is the relationship between these two great people? Next slide, please, if you can help me with. We have all gathered here. Shri spoke about it. Dr. Rajesh sir spoke about it. We're all there to help you to build your careers. Just like, and I'm just small part of one minuscule part of Tata family to help you. Again, all the bright futures here, bright youngsters I can see who are ready to, who have aspirations, who are ready to take the next steps and take their career aspirations in their hands. We are ready to help you, and what we bring to you is what my this particular talk is based on. Feel free to ask questions if you think so. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so if I just talk about TCS being part of Tata Group as a big umbrella conglomerate in India, and I don't have to say about Tata from absolutely salt to Air India, where Tata exists everywhere, including the Titan watches to jewelry to Taj hotels to everything. So there are various other, there are a group of companies, 29 listed companies amongst the 100 plus companies that are there, and but I'm talking about only the TCS one is the information and technology arm of Tata. Today, Tata, the TCS was established in 1968. We just celebrated our 50 years of TCS. And globally, if we are looking at it, we have 153 nationalities which are employed here in TCS. Just like we are Indians, there are many other nationalities or from the people from various countries and languages they are employed in TCS. As I said about Jamshedji Tata, we have a big portion of our human resource is our the women in workforce. 35% of our people are women. 406, almost out of 6 lakh employees, we have close to 5 lakh people. They are building a digital competency. So it's been the IT company. When I say digital competencies, it's a digital profile that I am talking about. We go to the next slide. Okay, what are we in life sciences? One of the divisions or one of the major divisions of TCS is life sciences, and I'm coming from Tata to TCS to life sciences sequentially. So within life sciences, we are doing as the speakers and my colleague Dr. Shri spoke about. We are doing the clinical research services. Within the life sciences, we are there at 6 different locations in the world. Importantly, if you see India, we are there in almost tier 1 city, all the tier 1 cities. Now we are also expanding ourselves into tier 2 cities as we are expecting a global shift in the post-corona, especially. We are expecting a global shift, and we are now also expanding to, with that expected shift, we are expanding into other cities. This is what everybody spoke about, that there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity for all of us, including yourself, myself, the TCS, and also for India. We are there in US as our major delivery center, one of the major delivery centers. We are there in Mexico, Hungary. Again, these are a few of our major delivery centers, and also in Japan and China, with 7,000 associates that are there. Just like we all of us come from life sciences, from pharmacy to dental to nursing to medical. Such like this, we have 7,000 people across the globe in different locations. Out of 7,000, 4,000 people are there in pharmacovigilance doing the drug safety work. Drug safety, we'll speak about it tomorrow as
इधर पे लाइन लगी है दोस्तों. ऐसी जगह में क्या खाएं? बाहर का माहौल. भैया ये पहाड़ों के बीच जंगल के पार कॉलेज बना हुआ है। दोस्तों अभी लंच हो चुका है, हम लोग लंच नहीं कर रहे हैं, बहुत भीड़ है। हम लोग को तो कल रात का बकरा भी नहीं पचा है अभी।
हाँ यार सुबह तक आ रहे हैं। हेलो,
कॉलेज कैंपस के बाहर खड़े हैं, अंदर लाइन लगी है, राशन कार्ड हम लोग भूल गए।
मेरा राशन कार्ड वालों का खाना नहीं दे रहे।
तो आप लोग जब भी कोई सेमिनार में आए तो राशन कार्ड लेके आए अपना।
Rajneesh was. So he's the one who typically looks after such projects where you have to submit the data or a dossier to a regulatory agency. Okay? You know, the medical affairs which really comes into picture, you really need to market what should be the message that has to go into the key opinion leaders and so on and so forth. So you need to understand the entire process. It's a unified and integrated science. So because a customer expects us to focus on a particular activity. So I'm the responsible individual for data management. Mangesh is responsible for adverse event reporting. So likewise, there are set of groups of individuals who are responsible to carry out a particular activity which comes across a clinical development value chain. So tomorrow I can get into Mangesh area and start learning myself and start contributing into safety. Probably, and in TCS we need to encourage people to really understand the entire clinical science in a holistic fashion. We don't want anybody to have a data manager's hat and forget about what's happening on the safety side of things. It's an orchestra, right? How do you ensure that the right music comes in? Somebody, किसी को तबला बजाना है, किसी को वायलिन बजाना है, right? Everybody has set a responsibility to carry out, right? So this is what the entire clinical development value chain is like. So clinical data management is a science which will looks after the scientific data. So please remember, probably I would ask this question tomorrow when somebody gives a presentation here. So it looks at the scientific aspects of the data. So please understand all administrative aspects of data will be managed at this site. All scientific data will be managed by data management group. So how do you ensure that data is consumable? Well, I just cannot create data from the subject and without cleaning the data. I need to cleanse the data. I need to ensure that it is accurate, complete, as per the protocol. So please understand, protocol is a very mother document, very critical document that needs to be constituted when I do a drug development. Without the document, I will not be able to carry out any responsibilities of a particular drug. So it has to be well written, it has to be documented. So without documentation, the work is not done. That is what the philosophy that happens within the clinical research. If it is not documented, it is not done. So we will have to look at a particular piece of document which could become a basis for you to carry out a clinical research. For you means, for our pharmaceutical companies who take the help of us, we should be reading that protocol and start creating a data management exercise. Start managing the safety aspects of the drug. Start managing the submission of the drug. So everybody has to be following the protocol. Even tomorrow when you become data managers, if at all if TCS likes your profile and you are able to qualify during the interview process, you will start understanding the protocol to the team. Without a proper understanding of the protocol, your contribution is inappropriate. You will not be able to add a value to the value chain. That is what the customer expects. You will have to bring that scientific tempo in the way what you do. Okay? So even as a data manager, you should be reading multiple set of documents and then start cleaning the data. Start validating the data, making it so that it is accurate, complete and verifiable. Things like that. So this is a very quick understanding about there are different stages of data management. One is we call it as a startup. We call it as a database startup. So one thing which you need to remember, if you collect the data, how do you manage the data? Where do you put that data? You require a box, you require a placeholder, or you require a system to put the data. That is where electronic data capture management systems comes into picture. So you need a placeholder, you need a place to capture the data, and that is where the electronic data management system comes into picture. And there are certain set of activities that we do in the startup which I will explain. The next step is a conduct. Conduct means you start continuously getting the data from 10 different sites. Imagine you are in Indore, there are 10 hospitals, and some 10 hospitals have hundreds of patients who have been recruited. So that data has to flow in. You should start validating the data. You should ensure that there could be a possibility of a transcription errors. Somebody would have wrongly captured the data. Somebody would have not referred. Somebody, a site investigator, a primary investigator, a doctor, he would have looked at the protocol properly and he would have done certain blunder. So you need a data manager should be able to identify that blunder and go back to them and say, look, you have not entered the data properly in the database. Okay? Database seen, in a very simple sense, it's a storehouse, right? You would have seen in your pharmacy, there is a storehouse. Potassium permanganate will be placed in some section, hydrochloric acid will be placed in some section. I need to organize the data. The organization of data will happen in clinical development, clinical data management system. Okay? So in the conduct process, you get the new set of patients data, start looking at any potential problems, any transcription errors, have they followed the protocol. You'll have to have set criteria. There are set checks, we call it as. There are logical checks which will follow the data and will identify all the issues that exist in the data that gets collected. So as a data manager, since you are from the pharmacy background, you understand life sciences better. So you are the appropriate person to look at the data, validate the data on an ongoing basis. For example, if a study is going to get conducted for 1 year, you will start from January 1st and you continue to do this activity till December 31st of this year. Right? Every study has different durations to reckon with it. Some studies might run for 3 years, some studies might run for 2 years, some studies might run for 6 months. So you would have looked up in the recent time, we have created these COVID vaccines. Regulators started saying, how do I fast pace my trial? Because if I delay my drug entry into the market, I'm losing money. Millions of dollars that will be wasted, that will be lost for any pharmaceutical company. That's the reason I always say, how do I make it fast paced? If I'm able to do it in 6 months without touching the scientific rigor, okay? Without compromising on the scientific content or without compromising on the scientific tempo of that particular trial. So then the reason regulators will look at, have you really formulated an appropriate design? It's not like they just provide an approval for the heck of providing approval. They will look at your authenticity. Look at your authenticity, pharmaceutical company's authenticity. Have they really used their brain and created that study design? So coming back to this close on, there are certain set of activities that I'm supposed to do. I need to declare. Whom I should declare? I need to declare to somebody who are those next set of people. They are biostatistics. People who are responsible for computing the data. I am responsible for cleaning the data. They are responsible for computing the data. So as a part of my close-out activities in data management, I am supposed to do a review process. I am supposed to say, okay, all 100 patients' data I have an yes, tick mark. I have looked at all the lab data, tick mark. So I do certain sort of a due diligence or a check. And then I would go by database closure. Okay. So in all the simple terms, database is nothing but a storehouse. That is where the place you store the data in an appropriate format. And as of today, you please review the rest. Next slide, please. So these are all different stages of life cycle. As a startup, you please remember that I use an instrument. Instrument means it's a software system, which we call it the clinical data management system. Right? I look at my protocol, and in protocol there are certain specifications that is written. I use that protocol to build that database for a given study. So for every study, the database would be different. The design. Imagine they are all your PDF forms. Probably sometimes you try to fill it online for certain government-related transactions. Okay? So I have an option using any clinical data management applications. I'll talk about it a little later. Which are those technology providers who provide those software systems for us, for me to build a database for a given set of studies. Okay? So as a data manager in a given day, I'm responsible for building that database, building that storehouse where I can put the data into various sections. Okay. And I also need to do an edit checks program. I'll try to simplify what is this edit checks programming. It is a list of logical checks, right? There is always a possibility that as human beings I make mistakes. So how do I figure out that mistake? How do I ensure that mistake doesn't get repeated? How do I ensure that those mistakes are precipitated for me to make an appropriate scientific assessment? So I need to write those logical checks. Logical checks are rules. Like if, for example, if there is a male patient, you're not supposed to test the pregnancy potential of the male patient. Sometimes they do a wrong mistake. Here it is written as male and they would still have it as pregnancy potential, right? So there are certain anomalies that comes into the data. Eventually, which would be introduced by the site coordinator, somebody who is interested to enter the data into the database. All those anomalies have to be looked upon. For example, you walked in today, you decided to enroll in this particular study, and then I would record as an unknown date. I don't know when he's walked in. That cannot be possible. Informed consent, like somebody where you ask the patient, would you be interested to take part in the clinical trial? Patient has to sign, yes, I'm interested in taking part of the clinical trial. Right? What is the date? So I should be able to ensure that I have a complete date. Date of birth cannot be unknown. I can't say that I am born in June 1975. I cannot say that. It has to be a specific date. It has to be 1st of January 1975. But sometimes you would have taken certain medication. Patient would have taken some medication. But I don't remember which day that I started that medication. That's acceptable. I can only say I remember that I started taking this medication. Let's say in the month of January 1999. I don't remember the exact date. Acceptable. So there are certain terms and conditions to accept the data is legal and valid, complete and accurate. Sometimes a patient walks into the clinic and let's say he's supposed to, an ECG examination to be done as a part of the protocol. But ECG equipment is a failure. It's a failure. When ECG equipment is not working, then what would they do? They would have to say the patient has walked into the clinic, but ECG equipment was a failure. It was not working. But still we need to accept the data. So sometimes you need to use logical sense, sometimes you need to use clinical sense, and you should be asking those questions to the site. Because please remember, any clinical trial, clinical investigator is the person who would typically sign off whether the data that got collected is appropriate or not appropriate. He is the authority to sign off on the data. I can only question 10 times, 13 times, right? I remember in my data management days, we had a process called as medical coding. So that's a place where we standardize the adverse event description, where we standardize any medical terms that gets quoted within the clinical data management. I remember, this is my own example. So he said, there was a question called as, and there was an adverse event called as GOTA crisis. It was written as GOTA crisis, GOTA-CRISIS. We were not able to understand what is this GOTA crisis all about. We questioned the investigator, and we got the same response. It is called as GOTA crisis. We've never heard about GOTA crisis, right? After some time, we realized it is gouty arthritis. That was a Spanish website, the Spanish hospital. They were not so good in English, right? So the way we used to comprehend is GOTA crisis. That was not a GOTA crisis, it's a gouty arthritis. So sometimes you need to question, as a data manager, you should send those questions to 10 times to a same investigator till you get convinced. Because you have all the authority, you know about the protocol, you know how the databases have been designed, you know the specifications of the database, and you have the right authority to question the investigator. So that is where your scientific tempo comes into picture. That is where your pharmacy understanding comes into picture. And we also create some documentation. You remember I said, if it is not documented, it is not done. So that is the fundamental expectations of any clinical science, right? And how do you say that I have done? To sign and signature. I have seen some forms getting signed and signature because the person is attending. So in clinical research also have to sign. I remember I used to put a date and time stamp. I used to say 1975, 29 January 1975 and the time. So date and time stamp is something which is very critical, and that's a very useful information. That is how auditors will start asking questions. Have you really done the job? Somebody, because they have a lot of doubts. They don't want to trust you. They want to trust the documents. The documentation is done, then you have done that particular activity. So as I said, in conduct, it's a series of activity. Like today you have one patient, tomorrow you'll have 100 patients, tomorrow you'll have 300 patients. As a data manager or a clinical data coordinator or a data analyst, whatever you call it as, so you have to continuously clean the data. See, all these logical checks will fall onto the data, and any inconsistency will get precipitated. And as a data manager, you will have to look at that particular data and clean that particular data all the time, right? Till we close the particular start. So once the data is clean, as I said, I'll have to transfer it to somebody who are biostatistics and programming for computation to apply your chi-square test, NOVA test, XYZ test, which is required for you to statistically demonstrate that the drug is producing the right efficacy, which is hypothesized in the protocol. Next slide, please. I'll skip this. I don't want to go into the details of it. It just talks about a string diagram, what typically would be done at the start of the process, what we do in the conduct process. As of today, this is sufficient, whatever I have spoken in terms of various activities of data management. Next slide, please. So I gave you an example, right? Sometimes the data entry error happens in this line. We call it a transcription error. That is the reason we have data. The investigator incorrectly reporting. That is also a data that we need to look at it. Medical term that is not coded. I gave an example of GOTA arthritis. GOTA crisis. It was not properly written. You will have to ensure that it is written properly as GOTA arthritis. Okay. Likewise, there are 18 other examples. They are all typically on the lens. You have thousands of lens to look at how the data is getting evolved. So tomorrow, at some point in time, when I run these validation checks, there should be a zero query that has to precipitate in the database. That is what it means that data is cleansed from all 360 degrees. If you have few more checks, if you have few more queries coming in, it means the data is not cleansed. So you have to ensure that that process happens like a tool. It is a subroutine program. You have to do it till you get a zero query in the database. Next. Okay. So, in the interest of time, I'll try to touch upon which of those applications are out in the market as data managers that you would start working when you join TCS. Okay. Oracle is a company
to us. So it is just a conversion of an oral speech into a text. As it expanded, it went to Europe, went to some other countries, and as a result of which you have the accent problem.
Yes, that's the
Even in US, there are about 7 or 8 accents which people use. In UK, there are about 3 or 4 accents which they use. In Europe, there are about 28 accents. You won't be able to master any one of them. So, not only you, anyone. Even the people in US do not understand what New York speaks, California doesn't understand what California speaks, the Chicago fellows don't understand, so on and so forth. So, there are certain courses which companies run, which make you understand that language for a particular region. So, you will do work for that region. If you want to go to some other region and do it, you will have to learn that language accent. But before that, you have to unlearn the accent which you have learned before. So similarly, you will have to do it. However, in the recent past, I know why Cognizant called you. I'm aware of not calling you, but I'm aware of what you are doing. There is an AI-enabled software which is created by Microsoft. That Microsoft and the company is known as Nuance. Nuance was the company which created that software, which ultimately Microsoft bought over that company a couple of years back. So they have a software in which they keep an app on the phone. The doctor, while he is interacting with the patients, everything gets recorded there. They use an artificial intelligence algorithm to convert that speech into text. And because they use AI, they claim then they are very good in that transcription into a text file, and that text file is then ingested by any electronic health record or electronic medical record. So that is the new way they want to do it. But in this case, the job of medical transcriptionist is going dead. So if you evolve from there to say that I can check the data which has been transcribed to be correct or wrong, then my value is there. Otherwise your value is dead. Again, as the algorithm grows further and develops, the job of this quality guy is also going to go down. So you will have then to evolve from a quality person to a level as how do I give a feedback to the algorithm or to the guy who is creating the algorithm to understand the speech better and convert it more accurately so that human intervention goes down continuously. Though it will never be zero because somebody has to click on the app to record something. Otherwise it's as idiot as any other dabba which you have. So that is what they are talking about. So what people were looking out for is a guy who understands the medical terminology. Accent was far different. You can learn it or you can teach the accent. What they were looking out for is the guy who can pick up the medical terminology which is recorded. And it was first for family physicians, followed by orthopedicians, followed by so on and so forth. I'm aware of what project you are talking about, but that is it. But that I would say is at the bottom rung of the hierarchy. If you are considering a career, then that, in my view, should not be a career. It should be a stepping stone to go somewhere else. And otherwise, it will go because it's like a call center.
Yes, sir.
So unless you are very interested
I
in
was to
listening to
take a
calls.
step because I have done my bachelor's and then now I'm in pharma, so I heard about it. So
You can grow from them, but that is your stepping stone only, nothing more.
Yes.
So that is that project which they are talking about. You can look up at Nuance as the company.
Nuance.
Nuance, NUANC. You will get the details of what exactly they do in that field. It's a Microsoft company now. Excellent. Culture language. So that they will teach you inside. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So like if a patient is going to X hospital and he doesn't remember the medications of Y hospital, so they have the entire data, whatever the past history and everything. So it is not, as far as I know, it is not in India as of now. So will it be helpful in increasing the efficacy of CDM?
See, I would say the data that is present in, we call it electronic health record.
Sorry.
Electronic health record, EHR system. I understand that there is nothing exists, probably something might exist in India, but I'm not very sure about it. But it will really help. For example, if I'm consulting a doctor, maybe more from a clinical investigation, I would say. If he goes to another doctor for the same problem, probably he can use that data that got recorded in an X EHR system to a Y EHR system, because the other doctor or a clinic or a hospital might be using a different EHR system. But I really do not see much of value when it comes to clinical data management. But one thing which we do talk about, and most of the customers are keen to see how do I fetch the EHR data into my EDC system. EDC is a place where I capture clinical data, right? So there are certain source data which I record in EHR, which is an electronic health record system that exists at a given site. So customers are keen to see how do I take that data without somebody making an entry into EDC, the data automatically flows into the system. So there is an expectation in the industry that how we can integrate electronic health record systems into the EDC system, which is a target system. But within other than, in a clinical setup, for a clinical investigation, I don't think much of a relevance. It may not have any impact on clinical development activity, especially in clinical data management.
Like the data from investigators in the bioscientific and other domains. So don't you think that the AI sector that is being like very popular now in tech technology and all these?
That is yet to be explored, okay. I really do not know what ChatGPT is currently up to. But I think probably some of the narratives which created ChatGPT might be of use, but nothing in data management as well.
As I said in my talk, I'm happy that you are reading. Understand one thing in life. The electronics which you use are supposed to be your slaves. But they enslave you. How many of you are addicted to WhatsApp? Addicted. You are all correct. How many of you are on Instagram? How many of you are on Facebook? Right? How much muck comes on there?
No.
How much useless things come on there?
A lot.
What have you gained from the messages till date? Other than gossip. Shahrukh Khan ran away with him. Ram did this thing. Huh? How much authenticated? But you all believe in it, right? You all 100% believe in it. Because that's what you discuss on the campus. So when you get into these kinds of things, please understand, you evaluate it scientifically. AI ML is a good tool, but unless you switch on the button, it doesn't work. No? It can't just start working like a human works. Human gets up in the morning and starts working. It doesn't require somebody to switch him on and switch him off. So like that, the systems, IT systems will never ever be able to work in its lifetime. You require it. Now, if you want to use that system, not getting used to it, because you people are talking because ChatGPT, many of you would have heard, are giving the assignment so you don't have to work. But remember, if you don't use your head to create that assignment, you will be a donkey at the end of the day. Please be very clear about it. I talk very bluntly. So I'm saying, गधे के गधे ही रहोगे, उसके आगे नहीं बढ़ने वाले. So these things are to be used as your slaves for your benefit, not to do things quickly, but to do things in a proper manner. So through ChatGPT, collect more data, analyze it for yourself. With ChatGPT, it's okay, there's nothing great about it. Another tool which has come, Google will come out with another tool. But if you are wanting to make yourself mentally an idiot, then Instagram, WhatsApp, all this Snapchat, all this ChatGPT are excellent systems to make yourself idiotic as early as possible or as late as possible. So it depends upon you. So please get away from it. Don't use that as the base of your knowledge, because those universities are horrendous, which give you free information to spoil your heads, but other places where you really get good information, you have to pay. So please understand this, make it your slave, don't try to act too smart, assuming that whatever they are talking is correct. In fact, I'll tell you, one of the Indore colleges, in Computer Science College, at least it was there, I don't know whether it is there today, phones are banned on the campus.
Oh, no.
They are not supposed, anybody having a phone in his hand is not the savior. And I know he can do it because his brother is one of the ministers, the principal's brother. So he can do that daragiri with the students. And students are also very confused. No, sir, hum nahi karenge. And I've seen that myself. So I think those rules should be everywhere. So ChatGPT ki औकात nahi hai.
More than 4 years and is part.
Very good afternoon, everyone.
Very good afternoon, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Right. I think this is an afternoon session, and I can understand that you had food just a while back. So what I'll do is maybe I'll try to make you awake a bit after your food. So let us have this session on regulatory.
मूवी चला के बस ये क्या है पठान दिखा के इनसे नहीं जाएगा
Great, I think it is back. Well, after these quite thoughtful sessions from Dr. Jay, Mukesh, and obviously sowing the seed of today's workshop, I really sincerely thank Dr. Shalekar, Dr. Mukesh, and Dr. Jay. Having said that, let me take you through what I am going to offer you in this next 40-45 minutes. That's what the next steps will be. That's how it would be, the flow would be. I'll try and touch a little base on the drug discovery and development process, how it goes. Why do we carry out like the way it is being carried out?
Diverse environment, we are truly global company. Very interesting, 88% of the workforce is millennials, and then of course a sizable number is now Gen Z as well. We have 2 lakh plus women, which comprises of almost 35.7% of our workforce as we speak. And the number keeps increasing. And very happy to note that I personally feel that pharma as a sector has a lot of women. And and we are very, very proud of our women leaders in this specific domain. Why you work with us, if you join with, okay? Please. Okay, when we talk about as an employee, what are the various benefits which an organization gives you? We have a very good health insurance scheme which is there for all employees. This is the basic cover, which is 5 lakhs per family. But if one of our employee, how she started in 2007 and how she has grown. So this is specifically clinical data management area. So if you look at the journey, I think probably whatever Jay presented here, all what she would have done started and lead somewhere. So that's just a good example of a growth journey. I think I'll skip. This is very important. All of you must be waiting for this, right? Isn't it? Yes. Okay. So if you there is a registration process. If you talk about our selection process, what does it comprise of? Okay, there is a test. Okay, so we will have basically there is a national qualifier test which is of 65 minutes. Primarily, we will be covering quantitative aptitude, verbal ability, reasoning ability. This is general aptitude test, right? And then additionally, we will have a specific test. This is what I was talking about. That why it is important to attentively listen to all these sessions, because whatever they are covering will give you an understanding of what you can expect in this test. Okay, so if you want to note it up, please note it down. So it will be a combination of national qualifier, which is an opportunity to interview. Okay, so they'll be it could be in a remote mode or physical mode. We'll see. In the COVID time, we have done it all remote, so we will see if you want to do it in person. But mostly it should be in a remote video interview kind of a setup. And first, people who are selected, they eventually will get an offer letter. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So this link will be up soon. I will share that information with all the your professors, teachers, faculty members. And I'll be in touch with Dr. Nilda. I think they'll give this information. And this test most likely 2nd of March. Okay? So there will be a window to register. You will get that information. Please register. Only people who will register will get an opportunity to sit in this test. Okay? So and all more details I think will be there in the link, other eligibility, etc. So I'll touch upon that also. Yes. So if we talk about job roles, I think we have amply discussed this. It is CDM, it's regulatory and all of that. And since we are an IT, eligible qualification is B.Pharm M.Pharm. Work timing basically, as an organization, we work 24/7. It all depends on the project that you are into. Okay, if you're supporting a US customer, you may be expected to work in certain shifts. It's not necessarily depends actually on the kind of project that you get. Largely, it would not be, but then it may be a situation depending on the project and the customer needs. I think this is very important. We do not have a minimum percentage criteria. Having said that, that doesn't mean you should not pay attention to your academics. It's very important to get good percentage marks. Okay, so all of you who are not up to a certain level, my recommendation would be please do focus on what is your final score that you get at the end of your exams. But for us, right now there is no minimum eligibility in terms of percentage. Basically, you have to clear your exams. I think it's blurred, but what the second box it talks about backlog. Okay, so only one time of taking test. Okay, only one active backlog at the time of taking test. And but when you join, all backlog should be clear. Your results should be clean. You should have a provisional mark sheet with you. Okay, which says that your all subjects are clear. Okay, I hope I'm clear here. Okay, so this is very important, right? So we will of course depend on you and of course your college to maybe qualify whether it is only one active backlog or it's more or whatever. But this is the criteria. Then in case you have any academic gaps, okay, so it is not more than 2 years of gaps are allowed. So basically, if your entire educational qualifications from class 10th to 12th, so 12th to your graduation or PG, so whatever you have done in between, there should not be any gap which is more than 2 years. Okay. Okay, I hope it's clear. Yes, so anyone who has more than this gap will not be eligible. Okay, and then, even if you have gap, there has to be some justified reason that you will have to explain at the time of filling the application form. Okay. Then the next box, it says that only full-time courses we can consider, which is okay. I think all of you are full-time students. So full-time regular courses only. Okay, so no parallel employment with this course, that course. I think during COVID, people have done many things, right? You all know moonlighting, right? What it is? You heard about moonlighting? No. Okay, so students were also moonlighting. It was not only corporate employees, but students were working somewhere. They classes ले लिया, घर पे कुछ कर लिया, parallelly बहुत कुछ कर रहे थे. But अभी सब open हो गया है, हम सब regular classes कर रहे हैं. So we need regular, people who are regular in classes and are doing regular courses. Okay, so that is very important. And so since this is an entry level recruitment, this is also very important. No prior experience will be considered. Okay, for us you will come as a fresher. So anyone who is applying should come with a clear mind that even if, say for example, after B.Pharm you have done 2-3 years of experience and then you have done an M.Pharm, now you are applying to us as an M.Pharm. So this 2 years of experience will not be counted. For us, we come as an M.Pharm fresher. Okay, because this is a fresher hiring recruitment that we are talking about here. Okay, so this is also should be very, very clear to you. And of course, there is an age criteria, 18 to 28 years, which I don't think so. I think it should be a cause of worry. It's like it's. Okay, so this is compensation. I will explain what is compensation means. You will see what compensation is, what does it mean. So far what I have spoken is that there will be a NQT, which is a national qualified test and aptitude test, and there is a domain test, right? So people who will clear both of this, so we will have a certain percentile cutoff, okay? So people who will be at a medium percentile and a top percentile, we will bucket people into these two buckets. People qualified at a medium percentile and a top percentile, okay? So people who will be at a medium percentile and then will go for an interview, if they clear interview, the package offered to them would be 2.75 for undergraduates, which is B.Pharm, and 3.25 for postgraduate, which is M.Pharm, okay? But it is absolutely dependent on the caliber of an individual student, I would say. If you crack it with the top percentile, which is the best performance in the test and in the interview, you get a much higher package, which is for UT, B.Pharm it will be 4.5, and for a PG it will be 5.25. Okay? You just enter. And then there is then there is another layer of this thing. So people who do not clear domain test, they should not lose their heart. Okay? So people who will do good or will be able to clear just the aptitude test and not the domain test, there is still opportunity for them. For a UG, you will be offered 1 year internship with TCS, which is followed by employment depending on your performance. And most of the cases I've seen people will, eventually after 1 year become an employee. Okay, but that's a 1 year internship at a CTC of 1.23. This is for people who just re-clear the aptitude test. Okay, and who are able to crack it in the domain test. Then for PG, which is M.Pharm, it will be 2.6, which is not an internship, which is an employment because they've done their PG. Okay, so that is how it will be. So if you see, we have given a lot of provisions for people because once you join TCS, internally also, we have options wherein we are focusing on learning linked career growth. Okay, so there we have very specific programs called Wings 1, Wings 2, wherein you will be given a defined learning along with the job, and then there will be assessment. Here, you actually have an opportunity to get into the upper brackets. Okay, so don't lose your heart in any case. As an organization, we are very committed to give opportunities to the, I would say, to the youth of our country. So we are very, we are giving you that option, and to avail it, we will enable it through the learnings that we have defined. Because if you do that, you actually will be able to scale up yourself. Okay, so this is primarily from a compensation point of view. Yeah. So I think these people have covered. So these are the various offerings or various areas in which you will be getting to work. I think. Yeah. So this is basically very important. We have strategically placed this after compensation. Normally, compensation, but my experience with students is it has to be like that. I don't know how many of you have seen Pathan. See, Okay, not sure. I did not must have done that. There is a bonus scene in the end, those who have seen it, right? Strength of an organization. So these things, I already spoke about elevate. This is what brings down things I'm talking about. That if you do this learning, clear those stairs, you get an opportunity to get into a level up. Then where you will actually start. Okay? And similarly, there will be many. There's a type. I1 is our own internal system. Which has a lot of courses. We have I1. Many things like that. All these accesses are available at free of cost to our employees. So you can actually, leverage the learnings which are available. Now this, what is this? So basically, we do understand and acknowledge it's just not work, it's just not learning, it's beyond that. So it is about the holistic which that's the most easiest thing. We are saying, no, it's not about money. Organization is giving money. But we want our employees to give their hours, volunteering hours. So basically, supposed to give volunteering hours to pick up any initiative of his or her interest. If you want to teach, you can go to schools and teach. We have a lot of times. If you want to contribute in the area of health, you can do that. Adult education, whatever you want to do, as per your interest, you can pick that up and join. So we expect our employees to commit some hours for this social activities. We will enable the platforms and forums. That is one expectation as an organization we have. Okay, and I know it is voluntary. No one will put a gun on your head and say "Jao or karo." But idea is that these are some of the testimonials of I don't know if they are from which colleges, but these are the kids who started with us as freshers. I know it's too long to read, but if you want to, you can just go through it. This girl Bhakti was a hire people from statistics background also. And then here Radhika was also a statistical programmer. So they're just talking about how have they worked and how their careers are shaping up in TCS. I think she spent 4 years and she's joined in 2019. So just for your thing, I think that is it. Yeah, so that is it from my side from presentation perspective. If you have any questions or queries on whatever I've covered, please feel free to ask.
ये घूमने वाला रोबोट तो देखिए इंतजार कर रहे थे हम लोग कब घूमे ये ट्रैफिक रोबोट ये घूमा और ये हम लोग निकले यहाँ से
Second right toward Kushabhav Thakre Marg, Mr. 10 Road.
अब तो विजयनगर आ गए अपन
मस्ती भरी घटा अब जाके रोक लो तुम मस्ती भरी घटा अब जाके रोक लो तुमको मेरी कसम है समझा के रोक लो उसकी जुदाई दिल पर उसकी जुदाई दिल पर नजर चला रही है देखो मुझसे